Thank you. I need a drink after that last panel, don't you guys?
I said it all to my kids, and then I think I'm never going to alcohol outside, so try it out.
Lynn, one on you. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here. Just a little background on myself, and I'll ask each of you to provide your credentials, which will be cast the, excuse me, starts off on the right pathway. I'm a partner with Sidley in Austin. We're a global law firm with 20 offices around the world and had one of the very first meaningful practices in China and the Asia Pacific region, opening our first office in Hong Kong in 1994. And we're actually, with a number of my partners, celebrating 10 years now with a dedicated life sciences practice in China and have 6 offices in the Asia Pacific region. So I benefit from a huge platform of both inbound and outbound work from China on the basis of my colleagues there and relationships that I have. And I'll just walk you guys down the panel. Peter, Tom, Pierre, introduce yourself quickly and then we'll get into the substance.
Sure, thanks. I spent the bulk of my career at Sidley Venture Capital. My partner was Chinese and that was founded the first China venture capital business. Early 2000s, I worked for new companies to soloship and started the first U.S. family office-backed fund of funds, backing very well-known funds, probably people who saw this like Orchid Asia, WIL, Patriots China. I've pretty much been a fund advisor in the last 10 years.
I'm Pierre with Acorn Ventures. Up until April Fool's Day this year, it was my 20th year celebration to venture capital business. So I've done venture capital both here in Silicon Valley and also lived and worked in China for 9 years in Taiwan. In between, I also ran some other companies, so I do this for fun. But the critical thing for me is to honestly not only make money, but also benefit mankind to create job opportunities. Thank you.
Here at DuPont with HPL Partners. I'm a consultant and advisor today to family offices and small and big business owners on growth strategy and financing, not as an investment banker, so different strategy there. The relevance here is that back in 89, I started my first software company, consulting in 93, acquired in 97. Had great success there, and then 2 subsequent failures, not a bad ratio, and then I gave it up. But for the last 15 or so years, I've been a private investor in China, in some small companies and some larger companies, and helped a few family offices go one way or the other.
Great, thanks. So I actually wanted to read something that Tom had shared. It's from the McKinsey report. We're now, and this surprised me, we're now a decade past Lenovo's acquisition of IBM's PC division, which was the first major outbound acquisition by a Chinese company of a global or U.S. asset. Since then, over 650 deals of greater than $100 million have taken place. And Chinese investors are now regular participants in the auction marketplace and in the strategic marketplace for assets. And according to PwC, last year, China outbound M&A surged 142%, or 2.5 times by volume, and 246%, 3.5 times by value, to $221 billion in 2016, which is more than the previous 4 years combined in terms of outbound growth. So, to each of you, in order, left to right, why? Let's drive them.
I actually first want to segment what you just said, because I think there are 2 different tracks. There are the Lenovo class deals, pork bellies, chip lines, whatever. And then the deals probably have greater relevance in this room, which are a little smaller, a little more rational, 10, 20, 50, 100 million. I think that bottom class is going to see a drop in the next 2 years, significantly. Partly because of the currency exchange issues in China. And so I think what that's going to result in is that you're going to see significantly more thoughtful investing coming out of China at the lower end, rather than what I might call, not entirely facetiously, pretty dumb money buying smaller companies in the past couple of years. So that would be first bit.
I'm going to cheat. My friend at JP Morgan sent me a report today that says China is increasing output on M&A. So rather than read this, I would urge you all to just go online and get this. Because it summarizes exactly what I probably would have said. For all that being, I've worked probably more at years than what I call the micro level. We tend to focus on the maxi type of deals, like Sidley and those type of deals, more increasingly on the inside deals. But I've heard actually a different perspective on the lower end, because I think that because of China's sponsorship of U.S. companies coming into China and being much more cooperative, allowing joint ventures on the small side, I think you actually will see more activity.
I would just throw some very interesting numbers that I can share with my friends down here. A friend of mine was one of the first teams that was sent by Bentley legend, now Lenovo, to do integration. At the time, was almost 10 years ago, and he told me salary was about the same, except one is numerated in US dollar, the other was RMB. That was same. But now, the numbers are also similar, except it's after conversion, the salary is similar, so that's about 8x using then currency exchange. The second number I can share with people is I had a company, software BPO in Beijing that I invested back in 2005. Before we went public in the US, which was December of 2010, we had made 20 acquisitions, of which about 15 were Chinese acquisitions, but 5 were North American acquisitions. The company has delisted and went back to China after it has gotten more money from China because the arbitrage over there is about 5 times that of here. So they will have more money to do acquisition overseas. But as everyone here knows, there is one major mandate from the Chinese government these days. It's overseas acquisition. It will be much easier if the acquisition target is in the semiconductor industry. So at this moment, because of the exchange control, it's easier to do hardcore technology acquisition than business model acquisition.
I think that probably lines up with where I was going with my other comment, which is that deeply valuable strategic outbound investments.
To the country level, not even company level.
Right, yes. But both. I mean, if you're a CEO in China and you go over here, you don't want to find your company, you're only be able to invest in a company if you have export capital. And it's very closely aligned and beneficial to your success in China and global strategically.
So let's unpack that a little because you've kind of branched into one of the topics I wanted to talk about, which is the strategic value of an investment versus the pure financial return versus capital flight driving activity. And I think it's interesting if you look at something like the Syngenta acquisition. And again, very, very large transaction, but a lot of commentary goes around the strategic need or defensive need in China for long-term food source. Right? Only 50 years out of the Great Famine. But that very strategic approach to investment, do you think that's a country level issue more or a company level issue, or is it top down and bottom, and why? Your turn.
From my perspective, again, I deal with SMEs and entrepreneurs. I don't deal with SMEs too much. If you look at the progression, I'll give some materials out there that I've worked up. You just take one from this. The evolution of M&A in China really came from SOE activity, cross-border SOE activity, 20 years ago. Then it morphed into venture capital, private equity activity. M&A is really kind of come fast as a result of both of those. So, again, M&A is very segmented. Because of what the industry is, what the size is, what the buyer is. The question about capital funding is the most interesting one. Because what I see today was 5 years ago, I had trust companies, trust banks coming to me and saying, I want to buy you a pharmaceutical company. They were serious. They wanted to buy you a pharmaceutical company with their clients. And they were trying to buy name assets for their clients. Today, a successful Chinese entrepreneur is trying to buy a good business to export his capital to the United States. So that's a big distinction. There's a whole cadre of Chinese entrepreneurs who have substantial amounts of capital. It doesn't show up anymore. They want to put part of that money somewhere that's safe as much as possible.
I do think that last point actually is much harder now. In the past 4 or 5 years, those successful money creators who needed to park their money, rather, if they were successful in mainland China with R&D and needed to park it somewhere safe offshore, they might go and buy something for the firm. They're not very much relevant to their company. And that would have been capital flight pure and simple. But today, it's much harder to do. I think you won't get approval from SAFE or the party or whomever unless you really can show strategic value to your money. I think the capital flight days really have gone in the last couple of months.
Absolutely correct. December 2016, shut down.
I would probably share something from number one, Silicon Valley perspective, then from the China perspective. In Silicon Valley, when you want to buy or sell companies, you usually look at a company in 3 phases. The first phase is when the company is still in kindergarten or in elementary school, where you have a great team with great technology. Then an HP and Dell will come to acquire you for your hardcore technology team member. Second phase is when you enter adolescent age, where you have some technology, your product is more or less done, but your business model is not proven. You maybe have some very lukewarm numbers of sales. At this stage, it's really hard to value a company to be sold. The third stage of the company is when you become a very strong college or adult, and it will acquire you not only for the team technology, but also for the number, revenue, and profit. Now, going back to the Chinese perspective, if we look back my first contact with Chinese high tech, which was back in '97, we had a company which did a standard called BCD. Everyone here that has lived in China at that time know BCD was Chinese first trial to replace the DVD standard. And later on in early 2000, we all know there's this thing called TDS-EDMA. China likes to establish its own technology standard for whatever reason. So that's on the technology. They will not be able to invent technology, but they want to govern the standard. Now, really, so so interesting, yeah. So what's happening today, if you go to Beijing, Shanghai, I've not traveled other cities recently, you see a lot of these peer-to-peer bicycle renting companies. You don't see that as often here. So in China, over the last 10 years, what I have observed is, number one, copy business model. Number two, business model innovation. Number three, which is migrating to today, is learning and catch up or superseding the US in terms of technology. So at this stage, number one, they want to control their standard and also their business model. So a business model innovation here probably will not work over there. Just consider Uber versus DiDi, right? You have a strong player there, then Uber has to, unfortunately, sell it to DiDi. So what I see is the evolution throughout the last 20 years, starting from a copycat to a business model copycat to a technology copycat, and what's the natural next step? Definitely technology copycat. So I look at this in a 2-decade perspective.
But let me add to that, because I think what's going to also be happening is there's going to be the export of ideas indefinitely. So that an acquisition here might be partly for strategic value back in China, but might also be a platform to take some ideas. And this won't happen a lot yet. It will begin to happen. Take some ideas from China into the U.S. market and begin to figure out how to play that market.
Yes, it is affecting the U.S. For example, about a month or 2 months ago, Baidu announced it's going to license its autonomous driving technology as similar to follow suit.
And similar, Alipay has come here. In Cleveland, they launched about 2 months ago. Really, ostensibly to get U.S. companies the ability to sell to the Chinese market. but it's also depending on the business model that will sell quite well eventually here in the States.
The best example is how many people in this audience have WeChat on their phone?
This may be a biased audience, but that's a good question. Very good question. Good bias. Don't sound like a biased guy.
How many of you have the Tencent stocks in your portfolio?
So as you think about technology migration and product migration along that business model, I was working on a transaction last year. It was a very high-tech company, a train car manufacturer, okay? And they wanted to buy another high-tech company, an OEM parts supplier in the automotive industry. And it really was a technology deal, and that was the goal, is that they were using some advanced polymer development technologies for plastics that they were going to be putting into these parts. And so I think across the spectrum of industries, you see the opportunity for technological advancement. But I'm curious about this concept of exporting that technology business model to the U.S. as opposed to importing it and using the Chinese marketplace, which is so large, as a distribution platform.
I'll go first to start again with some previous examples to share what I see today. Back in 2004, when I first moved my whole family to Beijing from Silicon Valley, remember at that time, Beijing was busy preparing for 2008 Olympics. Everyone remembers that, right? So we bought a humidifier using ultrasound technology by a company which is name brand, I cannot name it, which was selected by the Olympics committee to be used. So at 2:13 a.m., my wife woke me up saying that there is a fire, that ultrasound humidifier fire, and the fire was very high. So I called the company, the manufacturer, the second day. They told me, we'll just come here and replace that. I was about to argue saying that, no, this is related to human life. But then I was trying to get local life. I subscribed to a local newspaper. The local newspaper had an article saying that in a local elementary school yesterday, 4 kids, somehow unfortunately was in an accident and lost their life. The school or the government decided to give them about 4,000 RMB each. So at that time, it was 2004, when human life was not worth a lot of money. Fast forward another 4 years, we had an LED chip company in a remote city in Nanchang, which has excellent technology. In a clean room, everyone here knows about a clean room. You have class 1, class 10, type of a clean room, right? Local operators were trying to save money, even when their the gloves here are broken. They will still touch the wafer with their broken. The gloves is broken. They touch it with their finger, try to save money. But today, it's very different. So the fast evolution in terms of behavior of people is changing dramatically. So I would urge people, if you are interested in China, don't use your experience even 2 years ago. Like Pierre travels there every 2 months. I travel there about every quarter. Every time I get surprises. And my friend there, Eric, I see you. We all receive surprises every time we visit there.
I'm primarily a software, IT, and healthcare person, so I'm not a hardware person. My observation, having been involved in PC software in the 80s, and Geoff software in the 90s, is that China's real advantage in the long run will be the fact that they have a very powerful standard for home phones. Chinese programmer from Taiwan, who does the apps for these phones, will probably be the equivalent of the 1980s PC software developer. And that will be China's real stock and trade. And figuring out how to invest in that is probably going to be one of the most important things on the next years.
So now that Moderator talk at all, I was going to jump to the topic that I think was in our list, which was due diligence or question of how you do deals across border or something.
Yeah, I think we're kind of thinking about what the execution risk is when you are doing cross-border deals from each side.
Yeah, and you made the starting comment on that about the not so much the value of life, that's another issue, but the willingness to cut corners. and maybe try to hide it. Of course, there's been a number of big and very unfortunate examples of that in China, mostly not happening anymore.
Right. I agree.
Mostly because regulations are still very hard. But fundamentally, the basic flaw remains, and that is the shadow banking system. And I believe that drives a fair bit of this. And I'm not sure that that is much better than that. I don't know. I've never seen it. But so it's all hearsay. But, if you're really taking money from someone abroad, or putting money in China, or putting money into China, doing a deal either which way, you really have to consider what's a couple of levels behind the person you're dealing with. And I'm not even sure you can know that, but that would be, I think, the starting point for your sort of deep due diligence and where the execution is. One way I choose.
My wife thinks that I never did it. It's at 4 a.m. I'm usually talking to an attorney on Beijing or Shenzhen. My children think I'm really kind of sleep deprived. But the fact is that when you do a deal between China and the U.S., it's sort of a 50-50 deal. I mean, I think it's unfair to always accuse the Chinese side of making the issues. And I'm going through that right now with a marrying of the U.S. and a Chinese venture capital fund in a joint venture. Really, the Chinese side has been very reasonable and proposed most of those positive things. The CFO of the U.S. side is so scared to do anything wrong that it's been a major impediment to the deal. So, in my only experience is that you really want to try to match both sides and kind of have equal power on both sides. It goes much smoother that way.
I think I also have to forgive the Chinese a little bit, because the reality is anyone doing business in China versus doing business in the U.S., the business culture is so different. The way business is done, it's hard in both directions to really understand if the Chinese guy wanting to buy here, what's behind the people here is probably equally hard. So those are both ways.
I actually thought of that when Levin was saying the distribution model in Hong Kong was word of mouth, because everybody wants to let everybody else know they have a good deal. At least from my generation, if I got a good deal, I don't want anybody else to know. I want to be able to keep it to myself. I mean, it's a very different cultural experience. And when you talk about the fast pace of development, I think 2-3 years ago, the expectation, the legal advice that I gave to my clients, U.S. clients selling to a Chinese buyer, is they're window shopping. The expectation was they're never actually going to consummate a deal. Learn as much about your technology and the process as they can. And I think that has dramatically changed. As we're seeing much better execution and much more experience from those years, perhaps, of engaging in the process to understand what is happening in the U.S. deal market.
I also think there are now a number of good advisors who've had experience on good deals and probably unfortunately bad deals that can help people sort it out in either which direction. Help the due diligence go much further today in one direction than it would have a few years back.
From my experience, we're venture capitalists here, we're a probability player. So the most important thing for us is our strategy needs to be consistent. If there's some loose ends in this company, there's some loose ends in this company, there's some loose ends in this company. The most important thing for me as a VC is to look at the people and develop that trust level of relationship with them. So that if, for example, the law changed somehow, which is not beneficial to this company, unfortunately, other CEOs can help me money or make some money. And talk about trust and observation of culture. Last night we were discussing whether, because coming from Silicon Valley, whether we should be wearing jeans or not. So we had a discussion.
We didn't have enough trust between ourselves. Not one of us would trust the other to wear.
And I think I can put on the top.
There you go.
We're tied.
But please know Pierre's socks. As a touch of Silicon Valley in New York. Sorry to embarrass.
That's nice.
You know, we're tied.
That's London. So one I think perhaps final question. I think we're getting there on time. In terms of the shadow banking market, which you mentioned, what is the global economic risk? Good question, right? Failures within that shadow banking market. There's been a lot of discussion non-performing loans in China and the amount of perhaps bad credit owned on the balance sheet of the local financial institutions, and with additional controls on capital exiting, does capital need to flow into China to the banking system as a predicate to having a strong underlying economic system for these products?
Let me just say this, kind of lead up to that, the study that was done by one of the very good think tanks in China after this issue, basically goes through and maps all the different institutions and the cash flows. I think you're going to conclude after that there's two sides to the shadow banking. One is the investment product, and the other is the loan. So you have to go look at the asset and the liability. The reason shadow banks get money is they don't just get it from individuals, they get it from big banks. So CED or someone like that will park a lot of money with them to make a higher return than they're able to make in their business. But fundamentally, the entrepreneur really only has that institution, a trust bank, a shadow bank. It's a trust bank, incorporated, regulated, but lightly regulated. Not that different than the SNLs in the early 90s. But they made promises.
Scary analogy.
They made promises to people of high returns, matched by high, what we would call subprime loans, made to SMEs. So that's really the issue. You think SMEs in China will continue to prosper with these high interest rates? Will they have enough growth? Because if they don't, they won't be in loans.
I'm not enough of an economist to answer that question at all thoughtfully. It's a global perspective. I will say that a good friend of mine, a Chinese gentleman, who was the chairman of a global bank, chairman of the European operation of the bank, in large part to go back to mainland China and set up a loan workout, fund, basically, a distressed debt fund. That's how it is huge. Maybe you have a app that can help with working out some of these bad debts. Now's the time in China.
I would rather do that workouts in Saudi Arabia than try to do it in China. I can't imagine a more hopeless
For me, I would want to do a deal in China where I have one investor who's on the same side of the table as me, who has very strong local connection.
You gotta have local bank. Absolutely. That local bank is coming here too.
Absolutely.
Think how many people were in business in this room in 1992 during the RTC. You remember what that was like? No different than China.
That's actually what is self-promotional in some sense. What keeps me going with China today is that I've met so many people over the years that I now have some trust for. And I can find someone to be in that role at any time I want to do in China.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. I love it.